Can you imagine what would happen if three massive winter storms decided to join forces and target 200 million Americans during the final week of 2025? Creating the kind of weather chaos that could reshape how we think about community preparedness?
Friends, that's not some distant possibility or weather fiction. That's exactly what's unfolding right now, and every single family from the Pacific coast to the Atlantic needs to understand what's heading our way. We're facing three distinct storm systems that are going to converge in ways that meteorologists are calling unprecedented for this time of year. And honestly, it's the kind of pattern that requires all of us to step up our preparation game significantly. So please, smash that like button, share this critical information with everyone in your network, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, because the intelligence I'm about to share could be the difference between safety and tragedy for countless families. You know, before we dive deep into the meteorological complexities ahead, I want to remind you that as people of faith, we're called to be both spiritually prepared and practically wise, trusting in God's sovereignty while taking responsible action to protect our families and communities. As Proverbs 22 verse 3 reminds us, the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and suffer for it. And right now, we're in a season that's calling us to demonstrate both wisdom and compassion in unprecedented ways. Let me paint the big picture for you, because what's developing across North America right now is absolutely remarkable from a scientific perspective. And frankly, it's the type of weather pattern that has the potential to impact virtually every aspect of daily life for millions of people. Currently, we have an enormous Pacific storm system that's been relentlessly pounding the West Coast for multiple days, delivering incredible amounts of moisture from ocean sources. And this massive system is now preparing to begin its transcontinental journey. Here's where the meteorology becomes fascinating and concerning simultaneously. As this first storm crosses the Rocky Mountain barrier this weekend, it's going to undergo what we call energy transfer, essentially handing off its power to create a second storm system in the eastern regions. But friends, that first storm is just the opening act. We have a second major weather system developing for the Monday through Tuesday time frame that could prove even more impactful, followed by a potential third system in early January that might dwarf them both. Allow me to break down this three-storm sequence in detail, because understanding the precise timing and geographical impacts is absolutely essential for making intelligent decisions about travel, preparation, and family safety over the coming days and weeks. Storm system number 1 represents our current reality. It's presently delivering substantial rainfall and mountain snow across California, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, and significant portions of the interior West, with impacts continuing through Saturday evening hours. This inaugural system will subsequently track across the central Rocky Mountain region, generating significant snowfall accumulations across Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, and portions of New Mexico before transferring its atmospheric energy to spawn our second storm in the Great Lakes vicinity. Storm system number 2 is where conditions escalate dramatically. This weather event developed Sunday into Monday, and current forecasting models suggest a potentially catastrophic combination of heavy snow, dangerous ice accumulation, and blizzard conditions across portions of the Midwest and Great Lakes regions. The European weather model is presenting a particularly alarming scenario for this second storm, displaying potential snowfall accumulations of 1 to 2 feet across extensive areas of Wisconsin, Michigan, and extending into Ontario, Canada, with considerable ice storm threats across lower Michigan territories. Storm system number 3, while still a week distant, is appearing with remarkable consistency across multiple international computer forecasting models. This system could impact the central United States during the first week of January with what appears to be a major winter weather catastrophe. Now, I understand that this information might feel overwhelming, but here's what I want you to remember. We possess advance warning, we have sufficient time for preparation, and we have strong community networks to support each other. which is precisely how our Creator designed human society to function during challenging periods. Let me begin creating the detailed regional forecast picture for you, covering every major population center and geographic area, because I know you want specific information about what's heading toward your particular location. And that's exactly the intelligence I would demand if I were in your position. We'll start with our western states, where our California friends are currently experiencing significant precipitation impacts, and where the Sierra Nevada mountain range is receiving absolutely extraordinary snowfall accumulations, which is genuinely excellent news for our mountain recreation and water supply communities. Beginning with Southern California regions, Los Angeles is projected to receive an additional 2 to 4 inches of rainfall through Saturday evening, which provides tremendous drought relief benefits but could trigger flooding problems in areas that have reached saturation levels during recent days. San Diego finds itself in comparable circumstances with 1 to 3 inches of supplemental rainfall anticipated. And while this precipitation is exceptionally beneficial for reservoir systems and regional water supplies, residents should exercise caution around low-lying areas and storm drainage systems that could experience overwhelming flow conditions. Moving toward inland territories, Riverside and San Bernardino counties could experience 3 to 6 inches of rainfall in valley locations, but here's where conditions become truly exciting from a winter sports perspective. Mountainous areas above 4,000 feet elevation could accumulate 2 to 4 feet of fresh snow. For our Central Valley communities, Fresno and Bakersfield are anticipating 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, which represents absolutely perfect timing for agricultural interests, while surrounding foothill regions could see elevation snow accumulation above the 3,500-foot level. Sacramento sits in an optimal position for beneficial precipitation, expecting approximately 2 to 4 inches throughout the weekend period, while the Sierra Nevada mountain range immediately to your east could witness storm totals reaching 3 to 6 feet of snow at higher elevations. San Francisco Bay Area, encompassing San Francisco, Oakland, and San Jose, you're looking at steady precipitation through Saturday morning hours with accumulations of 1 to 3 inches, absolutely perfect for replenishing reservoir systems after years of persistent drought concerns. As we progress northward into Central California territories, Stockton and Modesto are positioned for 2 to 3 inches of rainfall, while our mountain communities surrounding the Lake Tahoe region could witness absolutely incredible snowfall totals reaching 4 to 7 feet by Sunday morning. Northern California residents, including Redding and the Mount Shasta area, are anticipating 3 to 5 inches of rainfall with snow elevation levels beginning around 3,000 feet, which means the Cascade Mountain Range will receive absolutely massive fresh powder accumulations. Transitioning northward to Oregon, Portland is expecting 2 to 4 inches of precipitation through Saturday, which represents typical Pacific Northwest winter weather patterns. But the Cascade Mountains are positioned to receive some truly impressive snowfall totals. Eugene and Salem residents are anticipating similar rainfall amounts, while our friends in Bend and the eastern Oregon mountain regions could experience 2 to 4 feet of snow accumulation above 4,000 feet elevation. Absolutely fantastic conditions for winter recreation. Washington State, including Seattle and Tacoma, will experience characteristic Pacific Northwest winter weather with 2 to 3 inches of rainfall expected, but the Olympic and Cascade mountain ranges could witness snow totals reaching 3 to 6 feet. Spokane residents should prepare for a transition from rainfall to snowfall as this system progresses through your area with potential snow accumulations of 6 to 12 inches by Sunday morning, creating some absolutely beautiful winter landscape scenery. Now let's discuss our Mountain West communities, because you're about to receive some absolutely incredible snowfall accumulations that will make skiing and snowboarding enthusiasts absolutely ecstatic about winter conditions throughout the region. Salt Lake City, this storm system is delivering 4 to 8 inches of snow accumulation in valley areas, but surrounding mountain regions, including Park City, Alta, and Snowbird, could receive 2 to 4 feet of fresh powder, which is absolutely incredible for this time of year. Denver residents are anticipating 3 to 6 inches of snow in metropolitan areas Saturday into Sunday, but Front Range mountain areas could accumulate 1 to 3 feet, with high country regions potentially seeing even more impressive totals. Colorado Springs and Pueblo are positioned for 2 to 5 inches of snow accumulation, creating perfect white Christmas weekend conditions, while nearby mountain areas will receive absolutely substantial fresh snow loading for all regional ski areas. Cheyenne, Wyoming. This storm system is bringing 4 to 8 inches of snow through Sunday, while Jackson Hole is anticipating potential accumulations of 2 to 4 feet in mountain areas, which represents fantastic news for winter recreation industries. Boise, Idaho residents will witness a transition from rainfall to snowfall with 3 to 6 inches expected in valley areas, while surrounding mountain regions could accumulate 1 to 3 feet of snow, creating excellent skiing and winter sports conditions. As this first storm system concludes its western impacts, we must transition our attention to what's developing for our Midwest and Great Lakes communities, because storm system number 2 is presenting quite significant and concerning potential impacts. Chicago. And I need you to pay very close attention to this forecast. You're potentially facing one of the more significant winter storm events in recent memory, developing Monday into Tuesday, with early model guidance suggesting 8 to 16 inches of snow accumulation possible. Milwaukee could find itself directly in the target zone for this second storm system, with potential snowfall totals reaching 12 to 20 inches, accompanied by dangerous wind speeds that could create blizzard conditions Monday night into Tuesday morning hours. Madison, Wisconsin. The computer models are consistently positioning you within the heavy snow accumulation zone with 10 to 18 inches possible. And with strong winds forecasted, you could experience significant travel impacts Tuesday morning during commute hours. Green Bay and the Fox Valley region are anticipating similar snow accumulation totals, with the additional concern of lake enhancement effects from Lake Michigan potentially boosting totals even higher in favored geographic locations. Detroit and the greater metropolitan area face particularly complex weather conditions because you're positioned directly along the snow and ice transition zone, which could mean significant icing concerns in addition to heavy snow accumulation. Grand Rapids, Lansing, and Flint residents are all potentially positioned within that dangerous mixed precipitation zone where significant ice accumulation followed by heavy snow could create extremely hazardous travel and transportation conditions. Minneapolis and St. Paul are anticipating 6 to 12 inches of snow accumulation with this second system, and the combination of snow and wind could create challenging travel conditions Tuesday morning for commuters throughout the metropolitan area. Duluth and the North Shore of Lake Superior could experience truly impressive snow totals, with lake enhancement effects potentially pushing accumulations to 18 to 24 inches in favored geographic locations along the shoreline. As we examine the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic regions, the forecast becomes increasingly complex because we're dealing with the challenging rain-snow temperature transition line that can dramatically alter impact scenarios. Columbus, Ohio residents are positioned along the edge of the significant snow accumulation zone with this second storm, potentially receiving 4 to 8 inches. But if the storm track shifts slightly northward, those totals could increase substantially. Cleveland and Lakeshore communities are anticipating 6 to 12 inches of snow accumulation, with the possibility of lake effect enhancement from Lake Erie, adding to storm totals in traditional snowbelt geographic locations. Cincinnati residents are more likely to experience a mixture of snow, sleet, and freezing rain with this system, which could create extremely hazardous travel conditions, even with relatively lower snow accumulation totals. Indianapolis finds itself in a similar meteorological situation with potential for mixed precipitation types, but areas north of the metropolitan region could see significant snow accumulations, while areas south might remain predominantly rainfall. Pittsburgh and western Pennsylvania could receive 6 to 12 inches of snow accumulation with this second storm, and the combination with strong wind speeds could create truly challenging travel conditions across the entire regional area. Buffalo and the Niagara frontier are anticipating significant snow potential with this storm system, potentially 8 to 16 inches, and lake effect snow could contribute several additional inches in traditional snowbelt locations. Rochester, Syracuse, and Albany in upstate New York are all positioned within the potential heavy snow accumulation zone, with totals of 6 to 14 inches possible, depending on exact storm track positioning and intensity levels. Now, let's address our Northeast friends, because while you might avoid the worst impacts from storm system number 2, you definitely need to monitor storm system number 3 for early January potential impacts. New York City, storm system number 2 might only affect you with light snow accumulation, but computer models are showing increasing potential for a significant winter storm during the first week of January that could bring substantial impacts. Philadelphia residents are in a similar meteorological situation. Storm 2 might deliver some light mixed precipitation, but it's that third storm system in early January that's increasingly capturing meteorologists' attention for your geographic area. Boston and the greater New England area, while you might escape the most severe impacts from storm system number 2, long-range computer models are consistently showing potential for significant winter weather during the first week of January. Hartford, Providence, and Portland, Maine residents are all positioned in geographic zones where Storm 2 might bring light accumulations, but it's really that January storm system that could deliver more substantial impacts to your areas. Now, friends, let me shift focus to our southern and southeastern communities, because while you might not be dealing directly with snow accumulation, you have your own significant weather concerns to consider with these storm systems. Atlanta, as these storm systems progress through your area, you're anticipating potential for strong to severe thunderstorm development, particularly with that second system Monday into Tuesday, accompanied by heavy rainfall and possible flooding. Birmingham and Huntsville, Alabama residents could experience some mixed winter precipitation on the northern edge of these storm systems, particularly with storm system number 2, so this is definitely something to monitor closely. Nashville and Memphis residents are both positioned in meteorological transition zones where sleet and freezing rain could develop with these storm systems, which can create incredibly hazardous travel conditions even without significant snow accumulation. Louisville, Kentucky residents are positioned directly along the rain-snow transition line with storm system number 2, which means you could experience everything from heavy rainfall to significant snow accumulation, depending on exact storm development. Charlotte and Raleigh in North Carolina are anticipating heavy rainfall and possibly some thunderstorm development with these systems, but there's an outside possibility of some snow accumulation in mountain areas to your west. Richmond, Virginia could experience some mixed precipitation with storm system number 2, and there's increasing potential for more significant winter weather with that third storm system in early January timeframe. Washington, D.C. and Baltimore present similar meteorological scenarios. Storm 2 might deliver some mixed precipitation, but it's that January storm system that's showing more substantial potential for significant winter weather in your areas. Now let me address our Plains States communities, because you're going to experience some interesting and potentially challenging weather as these storm systems develop and progress through your geographic regions. Kansas City could receive some snow accumulation with storm system number 2, potentially 3 to 6 inches. But it's that third storm system in January that's showing potential for more significant impacts across your metropolitan area. Wichita presents a similar meteorological story with potential light snow accumulation from Storm 2, but the January storm system is appearing much more significant for central Kansas, with potential for heavy snow and strong wind conditions. Oklahoma City and Tulsa residents are anticipating potential for ice and mixed precipitation with these storm systems, which can be incredibly dangerous even in relatively small amounts, so please prepare for hazardous travel conditions. Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska, storm system number 2 could deliver 4 to 8 inches of snow accumulation, and that January storm system is showing potential for much more significant impacts across the entire state. Des Moines, Iowa residents are anticipating 6 to 10 inches of snow potential with storm system number 2. And strong wind speeds could create blizzard-like conditions Tuesday morning during peak travel hours. Now, friends, let me address our Texas neighbors, because while you might assume you're safe from winter weather impacts, these meteorological patterns can sometimes surprise you with ice and freezing rain accumulation. Dallas and Fort Worth residents should monitor that second storm system because there's potential for freezing rain and ice accumulation on the northern edge of the precipitation shield affecting your metropolitan areas. Houston, San Antonio, and Austin are anticipating heavy rainfall and possibly some strong thunderstorm development with these storm systems, which could lead to flooding concerns in low-lying areas and poor drainage locations. Amarillo and Lubbock in the Texas Panhandle could definitely experience snow accumulation with these storm systems, particularly storm system number 2, which might deliver 3 to 6 inches to your geographic areas. El Paso residents are positioned far enough west to potentially see some light snow accumulation with the first storm system as it moves through the regional area, though accumulation amounts would be relatively light. Now, let me address our remaining Mountain West communities who haven't been mentioned yet, because some of you are anticipating absolutely incredible snow potential with these developing storm systems. Las Vegas, believe it or not, you could experience some light rainfall with the first storm system, and there's even a slight possibility of some snow flurries in higher elevation areas surrounding the metropolitan regions. Phoenix residents are anticipating some light rainfall with the first system, which is always welcome in desert environments, and temperatures are going to be quite pleasant for this particular time of year. Flagstaff, Arizona, now we're discussing some serious snow potential. This first storm system could deliver 1 to 3 feet of snow accumulation to high country areas, creating excellent skiing and winter recreation conditions. Albuquerque and Santa Fe, New Mexico residents are anticipating some light snow accumulation with the first storm, potentially 2 to 6 inches depending on elevation levels, and colder temperatures moving in behind the system. Now, friends, I want to pause here and discuss something that's genuinely important to me personally, and that's how we as communities can support and care for each other during challenging weather events like these. Some of my most treasured childhood memories involve winter storms, when neighbors would check on each other, assist with snow removal, and share resources like food, warmth, and companionship during difficult periods. There's something genuinely beautiful about how severe weather brings out the best qualities in people, and I truly believe that's part of God's design. These challenges create opportunities for us to demonstrate love through practical action. As 2 Timothy 1:7 reminds us, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound judgment. And that's exactly the attitude I want to encourage as we face these storm challenges together as communities. Preparation isn't about fear or panic. It's about being responsible stewards of the information and resources God has provided, and positioning ourselves to help others when they need assistance most. For our elderly neighbors and friends, these types of storm systems can be particularly challenging, so please take time to check on them. Ensure they have adequate supplies, and offer assistance with snow removal or other necessary tasks. Churches and community organizations, this is your opportunity to demonstrate Christ's love through service. Consider establishing warming centers, organizing wellness check programs, and coordinating volunteer teams to assist with storm cleanup efforts. Now let me provide some practical preparation guidance that applies regardless of which geographic area of the country you're located in. Because preparation is fundamentally about protecting the people and things that matter most to us. First and foremost, ensure you have adequate food, water, and medication supplies for at least 3 to 5 days, because these storm systems can sometimes disrupt supply chains and power grid systems longer than anticipated. Check your heating systems now while you have sufficient time. And if you have alternative heating sources like wood stoves or space heaters, ensure they're cleaned, serviced, and ready for safe operation during emergency situations. For residents in potential heavy snow accumulation zones, now's the time to verify your snow removal equipment is functioning properly, and consider arranging assistance for snow removal if you're unable to manage it personally. Maintain full fuel tanks in your vehicles, and consider assembling emergency kits for your cars, including blankets, water, non-perishable food, flashlights, first aid supplies, and fully charged mobile phones. If you're planning any travel between now and early January, please monitor weather forecasts closely and be prepared to modify your plans if necessary. No trip is worth risking your family's safety and well-being. Download weather applications that function offline, maintain battery-powered radio availability, And ensure you have backup power sources for essential devices like phones and medical equipment that require electricity. For families with young children, ensure you have extra supplies of diapers, formula, medicines, and comfort items that might be needed if you're confined to home for several days during storm conditions. And please, develop comprehensive communication plans with family members so everyone understands how to maintain contact if normal communication channels are disrupted by power outages or cellular tower issues. Now, friends, I want to discuss something that's particularly close to my heart. And that's how we can utilize these challenging weather situations as opportunities to build stronger, more resilient communities. Some of the strongest, most resilient communities I know are places where people have experienced difficult weather events together and learned to depend on each other for mutual support and encouragement during challenging times. Consider reaching out to neighbors you might not know very well and introducing yourself. Severe weather events have a unique way of breaking down social barriers and creating genuine connections between people. If you have generators, snowblowers, or other equipment that could assist others, consider coordinating with neighbors to share resources and help those who might not have access to these essential tools. For parents, these storm events can actually be wonderful opportunities to teach children about preparation, community service, and how we can help others during challenging and difficult circumstances. Let me also address our friends who might be struggling financially and wondering how to prepare for storm conditions when money is tight. There are practical steps you can take without significant expense. Fill containers with water from your tap. Gather all your blankets and warm clothing in accessible locations. Charge every electronic device you own and reach out to local churches or community organizations for assistance. Many communities have resources available for emergency preparedness assistance, and there's absolutely no shame in asking for help. That's exactly what strong community relationships are supposed to be about. Now, as we look ahead to that potential third storm system in early January, I want to emphasize that weather forecast can and will change as new data becomes available. But the overall pattern suggests we need to remain vigilant. Early computer model guidance is suggesting this January storm could be quite significant for a large portion of the central and eastern United States, potentially affecting travel during the first work week of the new year. If you're planning to return to work or school after the New Year holiday period, please stay connected to forecast updates because this storm could significantly impact transportation systems and normal daily routines. The really concerning aspect of this potential January storm system is that it could tap into Gulf of Mexico moisture more effectively than the earlier systems, leading to heavier precipitation rates and more substantial impacts. Geographic areas from Texas through the Ohio Valley and extending into New England could all experience impacts from this storm system, though obviously specific details will become clearer as we approach the event. What I find particularly interesting about this overall meteorological pattern is how it's positioning to potentially provide repeated opportunities for significant winter weather throughout much of January. The atmospheric pattern that's developing favors storm systems tracking from the southern plains northeast through the Great Lakes region and into the northeast, which represents a classic winter storm trajectory. This type of weather pattern often brings multiple winter weather events over several weeks. So even after we navigate through these three initial storm systems, we may need to maintain preparedness for additional systems. For ski resort communities and winter recreation enthusiasts, this meteorological pattern represents absolutely fantastic news. We're anticipating potential for excellent snow conditions throughout much of the winter season ahead. The snowpack that's building in western mountain ranges will be crucial for water supplies throughout the year. And the snow we're expecting in other regions will assist with soil moisture levels for spring planting seasons. You know, there's something genuinely humbling about weather patterns like these. They remind us that despite all our technological advances and modern conveniences, we're still very much dependent on the natural world around us. As Psalm 147 verses 16 through 18 declares, He spreads the snow like wool and scatters the frost like ashes. He sends His word and melts them. He stirs up His breezes and the waters flow. There's genuine beauty and divine purpose in these weather patterns, even when they create challenges for us.
And I believe recognizing that can help us approach these storms with proper perspective and attitude.
Now, friends, as we begin to conclude today's comprehensive forecast discussion, I want to ensure you understand how to stay updated as these storm systems develop and move across the country over the next week and a half. I'll be providing regular updates here on the channel as meteorological conditions change and forecasts are refined with new data. So ensure you have notifications activated so you don't miss critical information. The National Weather Service will also be issuing watches and warnings as these storm systems approach your specific geographic areas. And I always encourage people to pay close attention to official forecasts and warnings. Remember that winter storm watches are typically issued 12 to 48 hours before a storm arrives, while winter storm warnings are issued when significant winter weather is imminent or currently occurring in your area. Blizzard warnings represent the most serious classification and are issued when snow and strong winds combine to create dangerous visibility and travel conditions. So please take these very seriously if issued for your location. For residents in areas where ice storms are possible, ice storm warnings are relatively rare, but indicate extremely dangerous conditions that can cause widespread power outages and make travel virtually impossible for extended periods. Local emergency management agencies in your communities are also excellent resources for storm preparation information and will coordinate with local utilities and transportation departments for community response efforts. Many schools and businesses will be making decisions about closures or delays based on weather forecasts. So maintain contact with your employers and school districts about their severe weather policies and procedures. Airlines, bus companies, and other transportation services will also be monitoring these storm systems closely and may begin canceling or delaying services well in advance of the storm's actual arrival. If you have travel plans during any of these storm periods, I really encourage you to maintain close contact with your transportation providers and be prepared for potential cancellations or significant delays. Now, before we finish today's discussion, I want to share something personal with all of you. Weather forecasting represents both scientific analysis and artistic interpretation, and I never take lightly the responsibility of sharing information that affects people's lives. I've been working in meteorology for many years, and I've learned that the most important thing is providing you with the best available information while acknowledging that forecasts can change as new data becomes available. What doesn't change is the importance of preparation, community care, and maintaining proper perspective about what really matters in life, the safety and well-being of our families and neighbors. These storm systems will test our preparedness and resilience, but they'll also provide opportunities for us to demonstrate kindness, generosity, and the kind of neighborly love that makes communities strong and resilient. I've witnessed incredible acts of kindness during severe weather events, strangers helping strangers, neighbors sharing resources, communities coming together to help the most vulnerable among them. That's the spirit I want to encourage as we face these storm challenges together. Yes, prepare practically and take safety seriously, but also look for ways to be a blessing to others who might need assistance. As we approach the final days of 2025 and welcome 2026, these storm systems remind us that we're all interconnected. And that's exactly how God designed life to work in community. So please take care of yourselves and your families, check on your neighbors, and remember that every storm eventually passes, but the relationships we build and strengthen endure beyond the weather. Thank you so much for watching today, for your continued support of this channel, and for being the kind of people who care enough to stay informed and prepared for whatever weather challenges come our way. I hope you all had a truly blessed Christmas with your loved ones, and I pray that as we face these weather challenges together, we'll discover new ways to demonstrate love, faith, and hope in action. Keep watching for updates as these storm systems develop. Stay safe and prepared, and remember that in all things, including winter storms, God is still on His throne, and we can trust in His goodness and provision. Until next time, this is your friend, wishing you and your families wonderful, safe, and blessed final days of 2025. And may God keep you all safe through whatever storms may come our way.